In this video segment, we will summarize the basic healthcare access rights of people who are deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind. While the ADA has specific guidelines to ensure access to healthcare, there are too many to cover in today's video. Therefore, we are only going to provide information on essential medical services that should be accessible to persons who are deaf, hard of hearing, and deaf-blind. First and foremost, healthcare providers must communicate effectively with all of their customers. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, healthcare providers must provide effective means of communication. This means communication access that is best for you, no matter if you are a patient, family member, advocate, or representative who is deaf, hard of hearing, or deaf-blind. Accommodations for persons who are deaf, hard of hearing, or deaf-blind include qualified interpreters, note takers, computer-assisted real-time translation or CART services, video remote interpreting services, captioning, TTYs, video text, and equipment such as assisted listening systems, amplified phones, and headsets. Practices such as passing notes and using family or friends to interpret should be avoided. Passing notes is insufficient for addressing complex healthcare communications. While passing notes might be okay for simple communications such as saying hello or confirming a medical appointment, when discussing healthcare issues, it almost always requires a qualified interpreter for the deaf. Having a family member or friend interpret for a medical appointment is not a good idea for several reasons. First, under the ADA, it is the responsibility of healthcare providers to arrange and pay for interpreting services. Second, it is inappropriate and in many cases illegal to ask a family member or friend to interpret for a person who is deaf, hard of hearing, or deaf-blind. Even with the best of intentions, family members and friends may alter words in order to protect feelings or sensitive information. Third, without accurate information, a doctor may not be able to determine the source of the problem or prescribe inappropriate treatment. Fourth, and finally, in many cases, having a family member or friend interpret may violate patient confidentiality laws. A qualified interpreter should be used to ensure effective communication. A qualified interpreter is required when conversation is lengthy or complex. This includes discussing medical history, obtaining consent, discussing diagnoses, treatment, and prognoses, providing medical instructions regarding medication, and discussing legal documents, medical costs, and insurance. Healthcare personnel who have limited sign language skills should only interpret in emergency situations and only until a qualified interpreter can be present. Paying for interpreter services is the responsibility of your health care provider. Providing qualified interpreters is required by law. Healthcare providers should have arrangements in place to ensure qualified interpreters or other forms of communication access are readily available for scheduled and walk-in services or available in emergency services. Your healthcare provider cannot charge a patient or their family a fee for the cost of providing interpreter services. The experience of having a disability is different for each person. Therefore, accommodations are very personal. Even if you have the same disability, what accommodates the needs of some people may not work for you. While we have identified some accommodation suggestions in this video, the best advice is for you to tell your provider what works best for you. The OneCare Ombudsman Office wants to make sure that you know your rights. Please click on one of the accompanying videos or visit our website at www.onecareombuds.org for more information.